we're at a pivotal point in history. I'm sure many of you sense that. It's not to be understated. We're undergoing such a transition in the world. Many have compared the coming events to like the parting of the Red Sea. Well, this is far beyond that. The scope is much bigger. It covers the entire planet as we're nearing a point of the collapse. And they announced that in the last 12 months, $200 billion in deposits have left Chase Bank. This is huge, folks. We have the makings of a banking apocalypse unlike anything we've ever seen in our lives. The military's been on mass movement throughout the United States. There have been heavily movements in 27 states. There's more coming. We've even seen it here locally. They were literally driving a tank down the main drag here in town. It was unbelievable. So a lot of choppers going overhead, military aircraft. Everybody's like, what's going on? Well, we're actually in the midst of the roundup, and they're kind of doing this strategically because they can't. This isn't something you can do in one day. It's just too big for that. So they're doing it in pieces. And what we're beginning to hear reports of is that internet outages are happening in some areas for an hour, for 2 hours, or 3 hours, and it comes back on. Well, these dark periods are so that they can do their stuff that they need to do in terms of taking these people into custody and can stop their communications with any of the outside people. So you're going to continue to hear of this. You'll probably begin to hear of testing of the emergency broadcast system in various areas. There was actually some testing going on in Florida today of the EBS. This is all preparation for the EBS that goes nationwide when we get to that point. So Germany is on the just a trigger edge of complete financial collapse. They're not saying anything about this, but they are in big trouble. Deutsche Bank, big trouble. When this begins to hit, the first thing that will happen is all credit will freeze up. Well, what does that mean? That means suddenly your plastic doesn't work anymore. We could possibly hit the point of the wealth transfer beginning this month. I realize there's only 11 days left. It's not a lot of time, but at the movement that this is moving in terms of activity and what's being exposed, things could move very rapidly. What I do expect in terms of some of the historical assets and revaluation of currencies is that some of that will take place during the quiet time. In other words, when the EBS happens, there's going to be stay in your homes. There's going to be 10 days of communication blackout, or at least that's what we're hearing. And there could be during that time even appointments being made and transactions being done very quietly in the background. This will be all with heavy NDAs. No one's supposed to talk about their transactions, talk about where they get their money or anything like this. It's going to take some time to work through that. I think between now and let's say into September or maybe late September, so the next 2 months plus, we could be seeing those things take place in the background. I think by the time we get into late September, it's going to be publicly in the face of everyone, hey, there's a financial change occurring here. Some of the things that we've been seeing over the last week here is train derailments continuing. We've had 3 additional quite nasty ones, spilling chemicals and stuff. The deep state has been using trains to move, shall we say, cargo that they shouldn't be moving. And so there's some of these are having to be initiated, unfortunately, to stop the movements of this stuff. And others is the deep state trying to cause a catastrophe, such as chemicals in the water, in the ground, something of this nature, that they can distract the public with of some new catastrophe while they carry on what they're doing. So these things are all evidences of the war that were underway here, and that the good guys are winning. I want you guys to realize we're winning every day now. There are battles being won, and you should not be discouraged. In fact, you should be more excited than ever right now, because there's nothing they can do to stop the impending justice. It's barreling down on them like a freight train, and they don't know how to stop it. But it's exciting that we're getting to this point, that we've gotten. This was kind of a top-down thing. They had to work their way down, but now we're getting into those middle people, those lower-level deep staters. By the time we get to EBS, there won't be any big names to round up. They'll have already been handled. Okay, so that'll be good news, because I think when people find out, when things are revealed and they realize what kind of criminality was going on, what kind of things were happening, and especially the tie-in with the children and what was going on with that, they're going to be angry. And so how do you calm the masses down that are angry? Well, you begin tribunals and you begin justice, so that they feel that it's been taken care of. So we can expect that to come.